Uh, this is a courtesy call to Secretary Kerry. Uh, you know, John, I feel like I can call you John because I don't work for you. If I work for you, you can tell me how to address you. Um, you know, I don't know. I'm just going to continue on with shooting because I don't know what else to do here. I think I've made the point that there's a huge amount of budgets out there to acquire some funding for me. I know the Department of State offers diplomacy. I've already made the argument that we may have some issues with communication and various other aspects of technology as far as timepieces and things like that. Um, and government satellites, things to that nature. Again, do I expect to walk on military bases and inspect their programs to control those things? No, but I could hypothetically do that at some point. That's not really my main issue right now. I do have faith in whatever type of system that is in place right now. But I think, again, me coming on as a personality that can vouch for after an in-depth investigation, I think will put a lot of people's minds at ease. Um, uh, and so, what I also want to talk about with diplomacy is the ability to go to hotels and speak with people, and different government officials being able to speak to each other. Now, I began an investigation here, and I thought I could do it through the private sector to use one country, one hotel chain owned by a nation, Denmark, to kind of piggyback into these other hotel chains and being able to do some investigations. But I think it's advantageous for the State Department to be able to offer some hotel rooms that dignitaries or things can meet in and discuss things. Now, like I said, I try to do it as a professional consultant, and I want to publish my professional consulting report unless you advise me not to. But I do want to publish what I wrote 3 weeks ago, and that my father-in-law ignored, even though I offered to tell him about it. He wanted to believe that his son-in-law is mentally ill and not a professional, and that's not my fault. I think if you gather the evidence that I've put out internationally, that I clearly displayed that I am extremely professional and able to withhold things. So anyway, so what I'm thinking is, whether the Department of State is fielding dignitaries or diplomats, or whether it's another department, I think it's advantageous to be able to negotiate with hotel chains like Marriott or Hilton. These are American owned mostly, and as I've made the argument, they chartered with the local governments to build their establishments, which I could verify. I think if you can get me in a room with a couple of executives from these companies, I may be able to get discounts for Department of State and my staff if I have a staff. And what I'm thinking is that I can leave a tablet or a device after I've checked some of these rooms and made a special contract with these hotels to explain to a representative of the United States government or another government. You can watch the video and I can explain how I've checked the rooms or things like that. So these are just some ideas off the top of my head that I think would put foreign to the United States people's minds at ease, and possibly people that work for the government. Is that a good thing? I think so. I think it's advantageous to hire me. Again, if you're going to, I've made the argument for transparency, but I've also made the argument that if you're going to investigate violent crime or white collar crime, You need to be able to be equipped to speak with people, and when you're traveling abroad, you need to stay in places, businesses. So um, the other aspect is, what's the point of the government investigating white-collar crime or other crimes if you don't have a journalistic element that can report those things? So, I think people need training. I think I can offer some of that training, but again, if journalists can't get into rooms, the same type of situation where they feel safe with their digital data or whatever, then you don't have a freedom of speech element to the investigations you're doing. That's why I'm here and over here. So, I've made arguments about the FBI having people abroad, things like that. I mean, if you have several digital pieces that are supposed to be linked to each other, and you fly across 5 time zones, get to Europe, and all of your devices are popping up different times and dates and things like that, I'm a pretty sound mind, and I can focus on things and get around places, but other people that haven't been through the type of life that I've been through, they're going to get pretty confused, and they're not going to be able to investigate either large multinationals. We all want to end the child labor, slavery type situation, and sex slavery type things. And if you fly out of whatever nation you're in and get into these establishments, and things start going haywire with your digital devices, then you're going to be so confused trying to just figure out what the heck's going on, and not be able to focus on a report, your schedule, and meeting with possible individuals that could speak with you. So these are just some more logical things grounded in the year 2016, have nothing to do with physics, and I'm sure you're aware that the United States government has to function in the year 2016, and my physics theories and things that I'm trying to prove in those regards can be withheld from for a very long time, and it's not easy for me to withhold those things, but in order to get anything done, it's a necessity. So I hope you'll again consider, I hope you'll call me or get someone here to help me, because I think I am displaying very logical, sane things grounded in the year 2016, issues that need to be addressed, and I can show more through journalism as well. Still waiting, but I'm going to continue telling my stories today, and hopefully, you can read the information on my website, and review the information on my website, and see that my father-in-law is not intelligent at all, and that's why I'm using his name, and I think I am entitled to always use his name, because he dropped the ball here, and okay. It is an addendum. It is November 1st, 2016. I realize there's 7 days of the election. I really don't think people in agencies and departments are really affected in their workday before an election. I don't know why they would. Their jobs would be in the office or abroad doing their engagements. So I really think that this should happen sooner than later. And I've already made the argument that for the first 5 months of a new administration, I'm sure, John, you're going to be busy, just explaining your different programs and things. I think I've come up with a pretty good program, and I can report and document that to you. And I realize that the administration doesn't turn over for another month or two, but I really think that we should act on this. So I hope you'll hear me.